Financial advisors and planners are always looking for help in taking their business to another level. But that's only possible if you're passionate about building your practice and have a plan to execute. Welcome to Your Practice, Your Passion with Wesley Forster, CFP, registered financial planner and coach at The Perfect Practice. In this podcast, Wes provides insight from his 38 years of operating a successful financial planning practice to help you break through the ceiling you've hit and save you time and money, getting you and your practice to where you want to go. The results are an ultra-successful practice you can be proud of and few can compete against. Now, on to the show.
A coaching program for financial advisors that lasts 1 year and yields results. Get the lowdown and participant feedback from creator Wes Forster and his guest Ian Stevens. Now, Ian is an investment wholesaler with the Industrial Alliance Group. He offers first-hand experience from a one-day workshop he shared with Wes and the updates he gets from current coaching clients of Wes's The Perfect Practice. Gentlemen, please talk about that first workshop.
Yeah, Ian, why don't you give us a little bit more background on you, like just the Reader's Digest version, and tell us what your feedback has been.
Sure. I mean, to kind of sum it up pretty quickly, I've been in this industry since about 2004, 2005, and I've worked with some major mutual fund companies, some hedge fund companies. Now I'm with Industrial Alliance. And through that, I've seen a lot of different offices, a lot of different advisors, how they set everything up and run their business. And some of them are very, very structured, being in the ivory towers downtown. Everything's set up for them. They have their offices, they have the glass walls for the boardrooms. And then I deal with the financial advisors that are working out of their own home offices. And you see a big difference in how they choose to run their businesses. And then I met you a couple of years ago, Wes, and I saw how you structured your office. And then when you came to me, like willingly looking to help and advise other advisors on how to improve their practice, I thought this is a perfect example for that home-based advisor to look at what is realistically within reach of them and what they could do, and to bring that to them. And that's basically, you and I started talking back and forth, and that's where this kind of evolved from, I would say.
Mm-hmm. I think where it started was IA asking me, and I said that I would give it to Ian, but I wouldn't give it to the other ones. I think that's where I think that's where it started. But yeah, anyways, and I appreciate that. I appreciate your support, because it's certain things that the producer, or certain people of the producer will listen to, but they'll listen to people in different ways. So listen to you in a different way than they'll listen to me, right? You agree with that statement?
Definitely.
Yeah. And one of the things that you brought up too, what has been the feedback from the people now that are from that Edmonton event? What has been the feedback from them?
When did we do that? The beginning of
September.
December?
I think it was September last year.
Oh, it was September. Yeah, you're right. I would say within 3 months, I had 2 of them come and say they've already gotten their money's worth. They've seen tremendous value in just, again, like you were saying, they weren't getting that advice. I, as a wholesaler, my job realistically is to sell products for my company. And, through that, it's helping them build their business, but I'm not you. I don't do what you do every day. I don't see all the problems you have every day. So to get that advice from somebody who's in the trenches with them is something I could never match. And, they saw that very, very quickly from your one-day session and then just some of the follow-up sessions.
Right on. No, that's good news. The other thing that you brought up, like, were the turmoil that we're going through right now in our world. And you made a point about that. What you're listening to from the people that you visit that aren't part of the Perfect Practice coaching program. What kind of information are you getting back from them?
Well, advisors are regular people and investors themselves. And, some have a higher level of knowledge on investments, some have a lesser level, some focus primarily on insurance, some focus primarily on investments, whatever it might be. So, they're always looking for information themselves, because you don't have time to run your practice, be a salesperson, and also be a market and stock expert. So they come to people like myself. They go to, MSNBC for their news, whatever, or CNBC, whatever it might be. And to be able to find somebody who's been there, done that, been in the industry as long as you have, been successful to be able to use you as a sounding board just for some more self-confidence for themselves and what's going on, that they can then translate and take that message to their clients. Because let's be honest, I mean, a lot of advisors have less than the years of experience you have. So they can be a little intimidated by some of their very own clients. And sometimes their higher net worth or their engineer, smarter type clients intimidate them. And they want to have a little bit more confidence before they return that phone call or proactively make a phone call on what's going on in the markets today.
Hey, Wes, Patrice here.
Mhm.
How do you instill this confidence?
Yeah, and so we're not just dealing with we don't want to leave the impression that we're only dealing with people that are just 2 or 3 years in the business. We're dealing with people that are 15 years in the business, 20 years in the business, and they're looking for a process that they're kind of they've hit a ceiling. We talk about this quite frequently. We've hit a ceiling. We run into bottlenecks. So we'll get a bunch of new clients coming in, and then something, our marketing gets neglected or something to that effect. So it's a matter of having a process, a system, a program, call it what you will. I put together a graphic specifically for our coaching clients. So they're asking, so, everybody's at a different stage, as I just finished saying. Some people are 3 years in, some people are 5, 15, 20 years in. But they all kind of take a good hard look at this graphic, because if you don't pay attention to it, what's going to happen is you're going to run into those bottlenecks. And of course, too, one of the big bottlenecks is that when markets are going sideways, what do we do? How do we deal with that sort of a situation? And what we're talking to them about, once again, is making sure that you have a very solid program, a system that is repeatable, and that everybody on your team understands that system. So at minimum, you need 2 assistants, call it. One is your paraplanner service person. One is your client relationships manager, and they completely buy into the vision or the culture of what you're trying to create. Once you've got that established, you might have to bring. You're probably going to end up bringing in a few more people, but you have to have something that you can fall back on. Now, are you going to learn it in the first? Can you first of all, can you learn it in a 1-week workshop or a 1-day workshop? Heck no, impossible. This takes time and practice. That's why they call it a practice. We're practicing. We're getting to the point where we've perfected one thing in our system. We go on to the next thing. But there's somebody there on your team that is supporting that, so that you're comfortable with them. You know that they're executing, and that's what your client is expecting. They're expecting you to execute. Your client has an expectation that you're executing. And if you can't prove that to them, if you can't show them why with a solid plan, and of course with all the little let's call it touches that you do after they become a client, so it becomes their 90-day no contact or a monthly contact. A lot of folks want to use newsletters. I'm not a big fan of newsletters. Because most of them are boilerplate now, and they get a little bit clunky. It's not really you. The client needs hands-on. Okay, so but you can't necessarily be the person that phones every single client. So we're coaching you, and we're coaching you with the scripts, what you're going to say to the client. We're coaching you with our checklists to make sure that you're everything we talk about is you can execute those programs that we talk about. And now you have a system. It's a machine. It's a well-oiled machine. It's not something that is you're neglecting the maintenance on that machine. You can't neglect the maintenance on that machine, but you're the mechanic that's going to maintain the machine. You, the advisor, the financial planner, you're the maintenance guy. You're the mechanic. You're making sure that everything is firing on all cylinders. So if you don't have that running and you are missing something, sooner or later it's going to become obvious to the client or the prospect, and you are then you just become a commodity. So you're like everybody else. You're just selling a product. You're selling an investment product. You're selling an insurance product. You can't be that person if you really are serious about building a business. Okay. Otherwise, it's almost like a job. It's all you have now is just a job. You can be fired at any minute. We don't, at HSI Financial Group, that's the operating company that I own. We don't have this problem when the markets are going sideways, that we have people panicking, because we can bring back the plan to them, the whole plan that we did for them, and we can show them how all the pieces come together. And we had all, right at the very onset of our engagement, we already made the provisions for events like this when they take place. It's not if they take place, it's when they take place. So now the client, we can say to them, now, you remember we talked about this and this, and now you can see here, right here, how it fits into your program, okay, into your plan. The markets are going to do this, and we're not getting all freaked out that it's happening, because we knew it was going to happen, but we also know that we're in the right investment vehicle. We got the right people looking after it. We're taking advantage of the situation, so that yes, maybe their share prices are going down, but they're posturing your portfolio to take advantage of a situation. And this is what's happening right now. But here's what happens, unfortunately, that the advisor, they probably go into witness protection because they're concerned about whether or not, I'm going to get 15, 20 calls today when I walk in the office and the market just dropped 35%. Well, you should freak out if you're not prepared. And that's what we're doing. Patrice, to answer your question, we're preparing not just our clients at HSI, we're preparing these coaching clients of ours that are financial advisors and planners and so on. We're preparing them so that they can have that conversation with their client, and that it's a comfortable conversation. It's you're almost looking forward to it, because what we're doing is we're leveraging that event. So every time an event takes place, we look at it as a positive. It's not a negative. Okay. What a wonderful thing. What a great way to wake up. Oh, look, the markets are down. Yes. Right on. I like it. Okay.
Ian, have you seen this resonate with your advisors?
Everything he said there was 100% accurate. I have advisors that, I don't hear from at all, because they kind of have the same philosophy that Wes has, and they're fine. They're taking care of it. I have other ones that just touch base to cross-reference what my team is saying versus what maybe another team in another company might be saying, just to make sure the thoughts are aligned. And I have other advisors that I'm basically their full-time psychologist. They're very, very nervous about what's going on, trying to figure out what's happening and what to do. And those are the ones that I think can really benefit from this program. But I also want to agree with what Wes said earlier about, it's not just the newer advisor. I mean, I remember when we did that event in September, there was one advisor that attended that saw a lot of value in the program. He's one of those advisors. He's been in the business. He's already very successful. He's been in it probably over a decade. And he's one of those people where I personally think I have high expectations and plans for my life. And every time I walk out of a meeting with him, I just think I've got no ambition at all. So, I mean, to have him go to that event and see the value in what Wes is bringing forward tells you that it really is exactly what you said, Wes, earlier. It's a program designed to take you to your next level, whatever that might be. And it could be, from what I saw with the session that we went through and in following up with the advisors that have joined the program, they really were intrigued by the way you set up the office. Your office, I think, is something you don't even talk about enough. Just that psychology experience that the investor has walking into your office, just all these non-direct touch points where, you're greeted by a smiling face, the way the waiting room is structured, the way the boardroom is structured. If you went into the offices I went into, you wouldn't find many that are set up quite as efficiently as yours is. And I think that plays a big, big role. And the other thing the advisors really were interested in is, and again, I don't feel you talk this up enough, Wes, is your pilot experience in the checklist. I mean, having that structure and that plan in place, feel free to elaborate on it, because I think it's a great, powerful tool that you have between both the office and the checklist system that kind of sets the stage for everything else that you offer to the client.
The Perfect Practice is the coaching organization that helps financial planners break through the ceiling they've hit and build a practice they're proud of and few can compete with, saving time and money.
Yeah, we never know what's going to hit your hot button, as when you were trying to, I'm on a bit of a crusade. Let's put it this way. I'm on a crusade to help as many people as I can. It goes for the public, the consumer, but I enjoy the heck out of this group that I'm working with of yours. they are just they're a lot of fun to work with. They're good people. I enjoy it every Wednesday. I look forward to that event with them, and we do talk about those things. We do really go in detail into the checklists, and we have many. There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. There's pages and pages of checklists that apply to everything. So the estate plan, we've got checklists. For tax planning, we got a checklist, and for the investments, we got a checklist. For the plan, the financial plan itself. But there's also tertiary things such as the engagement letters. It's not that regulars wouldn't think of it as tertiary, but I consider it tertiary. But nonetheless, the sending letters off to Service Canada and to CRA and making sure all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed. That's what the checklists do. And people will say to me, "Oh, I don't know if I want to work that hard." And I think, well, that's kind of disappointing, because I don't think you'd want to go to the consumer or your client and say, "I don't want to work that hard for you." So everybody benefits. And I see your point. I can go, like, we can have, and that's the whole idea, Patrice. Ian's going to talk me into doing these twice a week now, let alone once a month. But we can just go on and on and on about, this is why it's a 1-year program. And we've already established with them, we can't get through everything. Our website, we have a library of all these checklists and videos and everything that they get to access, all of our administrative services and our policies and procedures. And there's 16 gigs, and we're adding to it all the time here. You get all that information, and then we go through it. I don't just give it to you. It's not about, here, read this book, and then you'll be an amazing financial planner, and it'll have all your standard operating procedures inside that book. So it's such a long process. So every week I meet with these folks, and we go over something new. Sometimes it's old. Sometimes it's going back to your question, Patrice, about how do I, I call it encourage, but it's not really encouraging. I beat them with a stick to get them to do what I want them to do, because it's about holding them accountable. So I've got people that hold me accountable. Patrice, you hold me accountable for things, right? And I appreciate that. And this is what these folks have learned too, as I'm holding them accountable. Have you done that? If you've done this part of your homework, have you done that part of your homework? Do you really want this? Are you passionate about this? Do you really want to, help people? Because that's what we often hear from financial advisors, is that they're really, what they like doing is helping people. Well, it takes some things that are really important that we're missing. We can't miss these things. That's important to them. So our program is designed so that we don't miss things. So then who benefits? So as we talk about, Ian, this before, about, who this is benefiting, you and I kind of teaming up here a little bit back and forth. Well, it benefits IA. The more people we get involved in this program from IA, it certainly benefits IA in a big way. Okay. I don't think anybody is disappointed. That nobody is beating you up and saying, "I wish you never introduced me to this Wes Forster guy." That, I hope that you're not saying that anyways.
No, I think to kind of add on to that is, it is one of the nice things about this industry relative to a lot of other industries, is what's best for you and the perfect practice is best for me and IA Financial Group, is best for the financial advisor, is best for the end user, is best for the next generation of wealth that's being passed on to their family. 100%. Literally everybody wins. And I really admire how aggressive a stance you take with advisors that don't master their craft. And are you really, do you really care? Is it really something you enjoy doing, helping people? Because you're not necessarily helping people if you don't really know all the fine details of certain situations, right? And one thing I'll never forget that you said to me, you asked, I forget what the question was, but you asked me for a detailed answer, and I gave you a quick answer, and you said, "That's nice. Can you now go to head office and get something in writing? Because when this comes up as an issue 20 years from now, I can't use the excuse that Ian at IA back in 2020 said this was okay." And a lot of advisors do rely on that, and I think there's a lot of value in reminding them the importance of what they do in perfecting their craft.
You're talking about responsibility here. Do you find that 3 months into the program, 6 months into the program, suddenly advisors go, I can't do this anymore. And they start to to question and you've got to pull them back in, or do they just kind of fade away?
Well, so far, I mean, now okay, let's look at the people that I have coached and I've spoken to. So over the years, Patrice, before I decided to start the Perfect Practice, I coached my team, and I still coach my team. And eventually, I walk away from that. They buy me out, and it's already a given that we want Wes to stick around to continue consulting and coaching us at HSI Financial Group. I talked to this group that I'm working with now, and we're how many months in are we? We're 7-8 months into this program with them, 7 months, and they're already looking forward to next year and renewing the program. I think it's fresh. It's funny when they bring things up. I say to them, bring your questions. You got to bring your questions. Okay. You don't learn by osmosis. We have to participate. And this is what the kind of staff, and we talk about hiring people too. Like, how are they going to fit into your culture, and how is this going to work for you? So we talk about that as well. It's not when they get concerned about it's becoming overwhelming. One fellow said, I think he said it, might have said it to you, Derek, too. I don't know. He said, in fact, he was on the call with us, Patrice, a few weeks ago, Derek, and he said, it's overwhelming, but it's a good overwhelming. I like that. That's right. And when we're having fun, and we can see you can see the benefits. Not like again said, it's not just for you, it's for your clients, for your team. Doggone it. I mean, why would you want anything else? Why do you want to make this so doggone difficult? It doesn't need to be difficult. You just have to have a program. But we don't see, I put this program together. It's taken me years and years and years and years to put this together. I've been at it for 38 years. And I just want to get other people to that same pinnacle that I'm at a little bit faster, a little bit quicker, because it benefits the consumer. You know what? It benefits the regulators. If everybody's kind of following this process, I said once many years ago I was on an advisory committee to the Alberta Securities Commission, and we were talking about education and what part the Alberta Securities Commission should take in education and that type of thing. I said, well, I don't think you guys are in the education business. I think you're in the regulation business. But I think would make your regulation business a heck of a lot easier if everybody was educated. But that's up to them. Okay. And they got to take it seriously. But unfortunately, some folks are getting into the business that are, they can't even do it for themselves, let alone doing it for their client. So, I mean, if the consumer got to see that you weren't organized to take care of yourself, then I think they'd be a little concerned about themselves too, right? Their situation with you. So we're going to walk you down that path to make sure that again, like I said before, all the I's are dotted, the T's are crossed. You got a checklist. You got all the items to go ahead and execute off that checklist. When you run into problems, these guys will phone me from time to time or text me, and they'll ask me a question about a problem they got into. And so it's not just about helping them solve that problem right then and there. It's helping them to see how the coaching program that will help you to solve that problem on a go forward basis, so it doesn't rear its ugly head again, or at least if it does, you know how to address it. You're prepared for it. Okay. And you're not making excuses. So this is a no excuse program. It's kind of like my book, No Excuses. Okay. I'm just not big on excuses,
So, and it sounds to me like there's no end. Is there a drop dead date on this? You say it's 1 year, but now you're talking about a second year with these folks.
Oh yeah, that's the whole plan. It's a renewing thing. Like if you see value in it, you renew it. I mean, is it working? That's the point. Is it working? Are you getting value for what you spent on it? And I think it's proven itself over and over again. Like Ian says, you're not emphasizing the checklist enough. Well, I don't know what more I can say about the checklist. We got to experience the checklist too. We can give you some tips and hints on that too a little bit. But there's little things, the jargon in our industry, and we talk about the elevator speech. I teased Ian for months about our elevator speech. And I said, our elevator speech has got 4 words in it. Have you got one shorter? And I teased him on that one. How long was that, Ian?
Well, the whole time leading up to the actual event, I only finally heard it.
So, it's Patrice, it's not a how do you sell? Here's a one concept, kind of a one trick pony program. This is a program that takes you from the very beginning. Even though you've got some of these things in place, we're going to fine tune, we're going to tweak those things. Okay. So from hiring your staff and making sure that they understand what they're supposed to be doing and how they execute, and you're training them how to execute. We talk about what's better. Should I hire a person with a lot of experience or with somebody that's brand new, right out of university, or has some sort of a background? We talk about that, right to the ad that you're going to put in Indeed or in whatever media that you use to advertise for that you're hiring. We're going to talk about the ad that you're going to put in place. We're going to talk about how you pay that person, bonuses and such. We're going to talk about the next step, and that's in our graphic, this graphic that I put together. After every checkpoint on the graphic, at the bottom it says and training. And that goes for me too. Okay. I'm learning from these folks. I learn from everybody. Ian said a sponge. I'm a sponge. I just celebrated my 64th birthday here, and I'm a sponge. I still love to learn. I love to learn about, flying and that type of thing, but also this business and people. I really enjoy learning about people. And, here's the reality. Unfortunately, 80% of the people, maybe it's even closer to 90, could absolutely 100% that are in this industry in Canada can benefit from this program. It's going to be a small percentage that grab onto it, and I'm going to say, hey, let's have at her. Let's have a ball, and let's make some money doing it. We walk away from it at the end of the day, and we can say, doggone it, I'm proud of what I did today. We made some serious progress here. And isn't that what we're looking for? Go ahead, Ian.
Well, I was just going to add to that. When you start throwing into percentages, I have a kind of a belief system that everything in life is a bell curve. And, you meet 10 people, one is you're going to remember as outstanding meeting them. One's going to be like, hope I never meet that person again. And then there's people in the middle. And if you look at the percentages, they say, if you look at the median in the middle, 68% of people fall within one standard deviation of that. 92% fall within two. And then it's kind of infinite. And as you deal with more people on the right side of a bell curve, your bell curve starts to emerge into a newer bell curve, and you have another new bell curve only made up of people on the right side. But once you're there, you meet new people that are now further to that side, and you just keep progressing. And that ties into your program, how it's 1 year to sign up initially, but you've taken yourself from your original bell curve as an advisor and just beating those competitive with you to now you're in a new quagmire of advisors. And do you want to be the best of that one? Well, sign up for the program again and sign up for the program again, because you don't know what the end date is when you start, or your end goal is when you start. You only start to realize that as you enter these new bell curves, surrounding yourself with better people, better clientele, and progressing. And you only really realize that if you take the plunge, you push yourself.
Exactly. And how many times have we heard that comment? If only I know. It's usually when it comes to dating, and it's mostly the guys that say that. If I knew what I know now when I was 18, 20 years old, 40 years later. Yeah, well, same thing goes for this business. When do you want to learn this stuff? You don't want to regret. You can't. The only thing that we have, and is extremely valuable to us, is time. We can't replace that. So we gotta make sure that's efficient, and that's what we talk about here, is the efficiencies of time. If you look at our logo, the financial, or the perfect practice, the logo, when time matters. Well, time matters. You can't get it back. So it's got to be productive, and that's the kind of thing, Patrice. Again, going back to your question, I'm going to hold you accountable to don't waste your time. And so many of these folks are wasting their time in our industry. They waste time. It's not, we'll talk about reading our emails. It's not just about reading your emails where you're wasting time, and how do you delegate that? It's who you're talking to, and you're wasting time. Right from the wholesalers. There's wholesalers that don't bring anything to the table, and I avoid them. I don't avoid Ian. Ian is keen and passionate about helping these people. So that's what, to me, I'm going to pay attention to him. Okay. He doesn't have the same years of experience, but he says the right things. And there's not many out there that do that. You know, they're not genuine. And that's what this is all about. We want to be genuine financial planners, not frauds. We want to have a genuine program, not Mickey Mouse. We want to be dealing with people who care as much about us as we care about them, and we care about our clients and the prospective clients, and you know the population in a whole. So I say I'm doing a seminar, HSI seminar tomorrow night, and it's I think it's pretty much sold out from what I remember. And one of my opening lines is that, you know, we're on a crusade here to get out and share with folks in the public, the consumer, the things that they're missing out on. Okay. Now I look back at our last seminar back in September. Of course, we do them usually, we do quite a few during the course of the year, but COVID kind of messed us up there. And I look back at that one, and we signed up all but one person the night of the event had already made an appointment before they left the event, made an appointment with us to come in and see us. Okay, that's not by accident. That's not by accident. And some of my clients, coaching clients, will say to me, "Oh, I'm kind of concerned about doing seminars and whatnot." Well, oh man, if you'd have seen my first one, it was unbelievable. Talk about fall on your face. But it's about getting back up again, brushing yourself off, get up back onto that horse, Patrice, get back up on that horse. And I fell off a lot of horses too. I got,
you and me both. It's okay.
Yeah, I've been thrown off a few horses, and I get up and I get right back on it again. And that's what this is all about. Okay, this is how you learn. I mean, you know, and it's fun. You got to make it fun. You got to have fun with it, and that's what we're doing here. But imagine you take your revenue that you're making now, and you double it. One guy here, I want to say, Ian, that he said he either tripled his already or he quadrupled it in the program. I can't remember what it was, but that's one of the ones that said that he's more. There's two other ones in there that said that only one little one tiny little piece of the puzzle has made an unbelievable difference in their business. And I'm going, oh, geez, I guess I should have started with that. But that's not it. It's a system. So you got to go through the system. We don't want to start with, you know, what we want to start with the end in mind. Stephen Covey's analysis of 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I'm a huge proponent of that book, but that's what we're talking about. We begin with the end in mind, but we got to start at the start line. You can't start at the finish line.
Well, I think we've reached the finish line for this podcast.
There we go.
Wes. All right. Ian, any wrap-up comments?
No, I guess just to kind of touch on it, I was just thinking, I saw his golf set in the background. You know, if anyone's considering this program, a great analogy, if you've ever taken one golf lesson, you know, you get out there, you know how to swing a club, you hit the ball, and it's going ahead of you most of the time, at least. You know, you could say that's where your practice is at right now. You just talked about some advisors took one little piece from the training and they saw a huge difference. You spend 1 hour with a golf professional, you will see a tremendous difference in your swing, but you're still not ready to compete against Tiger Woods. It's ongoing forever. And even he still has a coach. And I think it's just an analogy to kind of wrap up what he was saying, that it's,
and you got to
everybody can be better.
Yeah. You got to keep practicing, right?
Yeah.
You got to keep practicing that, because you can't just go out there and have to take that one lesson and you think that, oh, I got it. It's made a huge difference. You go out and try it on the golf course and it didn't react exactly the same. So you got to practice it and practice. And you need somebody there, your coach, to encourage you and to hold you accountable and keep pushing you. That's what this is about. But yeah, there we go. And thanks for shutting us down, Patrice.
I didn't mean it that way.
No, I'm kidding. I'm giving you.
But how can listeners reach you, Wes?
Well, you can reach us several ways. They can email me at wes@theperfectpractice.net, or they can go on our website and they can set up a meeting on Calendly on that website. It's theperfectpractice.net, and you can call me 250-215-2322. I love to chat. I mean, that's what I do. You know?
And of course, follow this podcast to get the latest show. Share with friends, family, and colleagues. They'll be glad you did. And Ian, thank you very much for your time. I'm Patrice Sikora, and let's talk again later.
Thank you for listening to Your Practice, Your Passion, the show for financial planners who are passionate about taking their practice to another level. If you have any questions about topics covered during the show, visit theperfectpractice.net. Email Wes at wes@theperfectpractice.net or give him a call at 250-215-2322. Don't forget to click the follow button below to be notified when new episodes become available.